I'm here in Dunedin, 120 George Street, with Steve Lawton. This is extraordinary, Steve. You've opened a space for Loyal in Dunedin, a Dunedin HQ. How did it come about?
Well, it was pretty simple. I purchased a couple of signs. One I was going to hang on the gate at home. The other one, this was a space I had in the building untenanted, and so I thought I'll put it in here. So I popped it in here and thought, maybe this would be a good place to set something up. So I talked to my partner about it, and we thought it was a brilliant idea. And then all of a sudden we talked to a few other people. Furniture started arriving, desks started arriving, various things, and yellow balloons, and it was basically created out of nothing in a really short time. We built the screens at work. Vicky built some covers for them because she wanted them in black, and honestly it just materialised.
Not just that, I have to say, we have a New Zealand Loyal cushion cover that I did not even realise was on the market. I now want one for home, and I'm sure many others will. But you know, there is, I seriously will put those on the overall HQ merchandise. They're very good. But what you said just then is the metaphor for all of us doing our New Zealand Loyal People's Movement. We've built something together out of absolutely nothing in 12 weeks. And none of this would have happened without every single one of us doing our part, would it, Steve?
Truly amazing. I've only seen this once before, many years ago, when I did a charity event, and a similar thing happened. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, what an amazing group of people that have come together for a single purpose. And that's where we are now. And even our little Loyal pup, who Vicky made a little Loyal jacket for. Unfortunately, she wasn't allowed in the venue last night. She was banned, which was really sad because she is a very loyal little dog, Sophie.
But even that dog cover would sell really well. And actually we do need, on a more serious note, just while we're talking business, we need these sorts of things to keep selling. Yep. We need to keep bringing the funds in for New Zealand Oil, because after the election, we now have the ability to apply when we have a significant New Zealand Loyal Party vote. I need to emphasise this in these final days. We will be able to petition for the names on the candidates list to be put back on the party list as they should have been. And the reason one can petition after an election is not on administrative niceties and box ticking and all the other things that were the problem before. One can petition because justice demands that those names be put back on. So there it is, New Zealand. It's completely up to you. If you vote en masse in large numbers for New Zealand Loyal Party vote, then that will give us the impetus to be able to go back and get the candidates' names put back on the party list, and we'll be able to fill those seats that have been voted for. Does that make sense to you, Steve?
Absolutely.
It also means we, in these last days, need to let all supporters know that party list vote for New Zealand Loyal is essential. What a roller coaster ride it's been.
It's been amazing, and just the enthusiasm, even to the fact we've got the drop-in centre. The same people are coming back, and they'll sit down and have a chat, and it's absolutely amazing, and that draws people in. So it's sort of happened quite organically, really. And
they could come in here, and have a cup of tea and talk to you.
Yeah,
what were some of the things they were talking to you about? What was
a huge range of things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was about personal things, how the system had let them down in regards of possible. Some of the things were injuries or things that had happened to them in their life that they felt that they'd been abandoned by.
Are we talking jab injuries there?
Yeah, that's some of it, and others were perhaps things that had happened to them in their childhood, that, you know, some not nice things, and they were talking about those and the lack of support for those, and they were simple things, and all they really wanted to do was talk and I guess share those, which sort of helped. And so it's been really interesting. And one morning I came in here, one cold morning, was just as we were setting this up, and there was 3 men sitting in the doorway there, and they were sort of huddled with a rug around them. And it was interesting, and I said to them, "Hi guys, can I sneak past and get in here?" And I said, "Where are you from?" And they said, "Oh, you know, we're local." And I said, "Where are you living?" And one of them said to me, "Oh, I'm living in a tent." And I said, "Where's the tent?" And he said, oh, it's in the town belt. And the other one was living sometimes under a bridge in Caversham. And I said, that is ridiculous, you know. And I just felt so sad for these guys, you know. And they weren't older men; they were young men. I guess between maybe 20 and 30, and that sort of thing. And then I started thinking about things, and I thought, why is it our previous Prime Minister was able to give or to allocate $600 million to an island off the coast of Antarctic for some restoration project or something on a building, a place where nobody lives, and yet these men had nowhere to live. Unbelievable, totally unacceptable. And people seem to have this very strange thought that the more taxes you pay, the more services you get. The reality is very different. And so all these things that I had in my mind, and and so I said to them, actually, when this is open, call in and have a drink with us. You know?
Did they come back?
And they did, yeah, and they did, which was really great.
I did a lot of filming of the homeless under John Key's reign as well. And I think that's a huge thing, that for all of the meetings, when I ask people, have you felt you have not been listened to for decades in this country? Hands go up all over the room, generally. Yep. It's a huge thing, isn't it, to feel for these Kiwis that come to our meetings to support New Zealand Loyal, that there may be a group who truly want now to represent Kiwis, to listen to Kiwis. Is that the feedback you're getting?
Absolutely, yeah. And even last night at the venue, the drummer, who I've come to know quite well, Jeremy, same thing, the systems totally let him down. And, you know, he has an injury through no fault of his own, just a group of circumstances that were working against him, and the system completely let him down.
He's a terrific drummer.
He's fantastic, isn't he?
Last night's meeting was amazing. We had Ruben. What's Ruben's surname? Ruben. We'll put that up. Ruben's song "Loyal" was a magical moment, along with the drumming, along with Hutch in the Loyal Mini, along with you and our wonderful Fred Roberts from Tairi was there as well. Somebody said that when some of the other parties came through, I think Democracy in New Zealand maybe had about 20 and Freedoms had about 60. People are estimating between 120 and 150 last night for you. That was a good turnout. I thought so.
I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
In fact, Jake said to me, no, there's more than that. It's 200, what did you say, 230 people here. I said, oh, really? That's good.
So someone else said to me, the food they turned on, the sausage rolls and the homemade goodies. And the, Steve, what is it about this standing now? What is it that has inspired you and that you really want to offer from this journey of yours for New Zealand Loyal?
Well, I've got quite a lot of knowledge about how we've got to this point in history, because a long time ago, I think I said at the meeting, I basically turned the television off, threw it away, and didn't look at any newspapers, but I didn't stop researching and learning. And I learned quite a lot about how about our history and how we've evolved, and I mean globally, not just locally. And then I began to understand how we've got into this position. And then once you have that knowledge, you know, knowledge without action is nothing but self-congratulatory indolence, really. So you have an obligation to do something. And so that's why I'm here. That's what I'm doing.
And look at what you've done. I mean, we happen to have one of my favourite pictures for New Zealand Loyal support. I love that on the hay bales. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yep, absolutely.
You know that tomorrow anything that's been officially sponsored by Loyal has to come down. Have you told all your followers?
Absolutely.
By midnight Friday?
Yep.
All billboards have to come down. But that's not officially sponsored. That can stay up, I think. That's wonderful. And then we have also something you've done that's quite unique. I don't know that many other candidates have done it. Every policy is printed off in a separate folder. So we've got health, that was September the 10th. Gosh, that feels like a lifetime ago. Monetary system, the gun club. Wow, that was August the 10th. The transaction tax policy, private property rights, the economy, education. This is an amazing effort. Look at that. I didn't actually know I'd put out that many policies for us. But what do you think is the big one for most people?
Well, I think that, like I suggested last night, the two big ones are, of course, the tax system, which is badly broken and has been, and property rights. But I mean, you can't leave those in isolation. The therapeutics bill, co-governance, all those things are really major issues that need to be dealt with.
The tax one, for me, a lot of it, the gateway is this statement: tax is slavery.
Yes, it is. Tax
is the doorway to human slavery, and the 1% tax is the end to this slavery system. It frees people up to live their independent lives. I love that.
Absolutely.
But as well as that, yes, I agree, private property rights, the farmers' rights have to be... Farmers, we need to look after them really well, lift all those regulations that are so oppressive, lift them off their backs. What about the leaving of the World Health Organization? What about the leaving of the United Nations and all of the climate rot and the con that is, and the leaving of the World Economic Forum that these so-called globalist leaders go to?
Well, that's what I've come to understand. Our government, even our local council here, is a private corporation. It is. Our government is a private corporation, and they are directed to by the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and the World Economic Forum, and the IMF. And they're all part of the control structure. I mean, we're not looking at something that's particular to New Zealand. This is global, absolutely global, everywhere around the world. And so we have to understand that. And once you do understand those entities are dictating right down to our ground level, they're dictating to what the council can and can't do, and when it will do it, all these sorts of things. When you actually understand that and you look at the bigger picture, we're in very interesting times, and we have to stop that, because we're almost at that end point. We're at a tipping point. We're losing our rights. And there's an old adage: if you don't stand on your rights and stand up for them, you have none.
Yes. And
the time has come. We have to stand up for our basic human rights.
And you said something there. It's not unique to New Zealand, but I'll tell you what isn't unique to this country. It's this Kiwi spirit that is being awakened in vast numbers, sometimes in some quarters very quietly under the surface, and we won't know until polling day how wide that awakening of the Kiwi spirit is. But if any little country, any country at all actually, could turn the tide and turn the direction back in the right way for human populations to thrive,
you're right.
I believe it's our country, Steve.
And when you look back at history, there's so many things that reinforce what you've said. Look at our yachting prowess.
Yes.
What happened? You know, we were the underdogs, underfunded in every way, and yet we won. And it's the same with our sports people, you know, our rugby players, swimmers, cyclists, you name it. It's almost a tradition with New Zealand to punch above their weight, which is a bit of a cliche. But it's true. It's so very true. And when people are motivated, and one of the things I've learned with events and things I've done, a lot of folks don't really understand what they're capable of, because they don't push themselves to that level. And when you do, and you know, you push yourselves above and beyond what you thought was possible, amazing things happen. And that's been exactly your party that you started.
It's our party. It's our party, and it is mostly the people's party. It's the people's movement. Steve, it's a delight to be working with you. I look forward to being in Parliament with you. And let's take the yellow chair there, shall we? Let's do it. We'll see what happens. But whatever, this is something that will keep building, because Kiwis, now we are awake in vast numbers, will never go back to sleep and allow tyranny in this country again.
It's really interesting you said that, and we were thinking about it before the event, and I said to my partner, I think we should put the itinerary for the night on a form, which was yellow, did you notice, and ask if they would like to give us their email addresses. So after the event and into the future, we can keep in contact with them, not spam them, but email them about progress. And so we're looking to the future after the election. And
I can tell you, and I put it up on our candidates page, there is something that I'm holding back until after the election that is a really, really important story, journalistically speaking. And I felt ethically, even though it could have served us politically, I think it's too big to be used by anybody politically. So I'm holding that back, but we'll be releasing that in the next few days. So these are the things, these are the values we want to get back to. Just good Kiwi values of morality, of caring for one another, not putting ourselves first, putting our neighbour, our neighbour right in there, our fellow man.
And our family, our family unit. So again, it's all about family and community. And this has been an amazing community. It really has, the way it's formed. Yeah.
It's just a delight.